And we're recording. Hey guys, welcome to this video. I'm going to show you how to bypass this 100-digit PIN code and gain access to an AWS account using 3 security flaws. These flaws will lead us to bypass input validation, gain access to AWS credentials, use the unnecessary permissions we have in a malicious way. So let's get started. But before that, I just want to tell you this video is for educational purposes only. So do not try this on systems you don't have permission to test. So let me share my screen and get started. The website we're testing it on is Flaws2.cloud, which is like series of challenges, AWS challenges for attackers and also defenders to try and showcase their skill. The website is built by Summit Route. You can check them out. And also, I'm going to put the link in the description so you can try these challenges yourself as well. So this is level 1 of attacker. And it says you will need to enter the correct PIN code. The correct PIN code is 100 digits long, so brute forcing it won't help. So as a security engineer, when you see this, or when you see stuff like this, you just want to break them. So that's what we're going to try to do. I did an inspect element. That's where this pop-up came from. And I'm going to go on the network section because I want to see when I put a digit in there, what happens on the network side or on the backend side. So I'm going to put some some digits in there, some numbers, and we'll see the request is sent to the backend. Here it is, and it's 3 or 1. That means it's received by a backend, and obviously it's an incorrect PIN. Imagine if it was correct, this would have been the fastest hack in the history, but obviously it's not correct. The point that we pay attention to is that it says 100 digits long, digits. That means numbers. So it makes you wonder what happens if we put in some letters in there. How does it handle that since it only wants digits? So I'm going to click submit on that, and it gives us a pop-up, a JavaScript front-end pop-up, and it says code must be a number. And we know it's only a front-end validation because, as we can see here, there was no request sent to the network on the backend. So this is only front-end. And as far as we know right now, the validation is only being taken place on the front end. So what I'm going to do here is that I'll try to bypass the front end and send the request directly to the backend by editing the request here and putting some letters in here instead of numbers to see what happens. So I send that request and I get a 500 error. What that means is that, or 500 status, what that means is that there is an error and the server could not handle the input or the request that I sent it. So it will be interesting to see what sort of response we get in return. And obviously we got an error and we got this string of like array, and it says it's a Lambda function, latest version, and is US East 1. So let me have a closer look at that to see if there's anything useful in that. I'm just going to copy that and paste that into my Visual Studio Code right here. I'm going to paste it. And also I'm going to use Prettier to make it look arranged so we can go through it properly. So in here, we can see AWS secret access key, right here. And that's going to be useful for the future. So I'm going to copy that. Anything that I see interesting, I'm going to copy and paste it here so we can use it later on. What else we see is, if we scroll down, we see a Lambda function named level 1. So it's a Lambda function. And also we can see the access ID and session token. I'm going to copy the session token and paste it down there. Using those information, we can basically create a AWS profile. So I'm going to paste it here using the CLI, obviously. And what else we need is this thing here, session token ID. I'm going to paste that here as well. So Using these three pieces of information, we want to create a profile and we want to validate that profile afterwards. For that, we'll go on the terminal and using the CLI. If you don't have the CLI, I have a link in the description so you can download the CLI or in the comment section. So you can download the CLI yourself and try this out. AWS configure, what we want to do is to create an AWS profile. So I'm going to do AWS configure -- profile. And I'm going to call the profile Flaws2L1 to just make sure I have the record straight. And those are the things, that's the level that we're doing. You can call it whatever you want, by the way. So the first thing it'll ask us is the AWS access key ID. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy the access key ID and paste it right here. And it's next thing it asks us is secret access key. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this and paste it right here. And in region, not needed for now. This is just the role, so we don't need it. The other thing we need is a session token, which it didn't ask us. So for that, I am going to go to the file, the credentials file itself, to add the credential in, like the session token ID. We can see the other information we have added there. And the next thing we need is AWS session token, right? Token equals, we're going to copy the text that we have here. This is what we need for the session token, this whole string of text right here. And we're going to paste it here. And also we want to get rid of the extra stuff we have, the comma and the semicolon. So the quotation. AWS session token is right here. So we have all the credentials that we need. I'm going to exit and make sure I've saved it. The next thing we want to do is that to validate the credentials that we have. I'm just checking if it's on mute or not. Last time it was on mute. So for that, I'm going to do AWS STS get caller identity, and I'm going to go -- profile, and the name of the profile we created was Flaws2L1. So let's give it a try. Let's see if it gives us back the valid identity. And we see, yes, it is a valid identity because the user ID is there and the account number is there and also ARN is there. So all of this tells us that it is a valid identity. And the next thing I was curious about was that, is this website being hosted, or is some of the content of it is coming from an S3 bucket? Because we can see there's a Lambda function involved. There's a role that we got access to. So is it that the Lambda function is getting the stuff from S3 bucket to display? That is a common architecture. So I want to make sure if this is the case over here or not. For that, I'm going to use a command nslookup on the address of the website, level 1 dot flaws2.cloud. And we can see it comes up with a list of IP addresses. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy one of these, right? Any of them would do, to be honest. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to do clear, and I'm going to do another nslookup on one of those IP addresses. And here we see, yes, it is an S3 bucket because it says S3 website US east1.amazonaws.com. So we know is a S3 bucket. Some of that content is coming from. But now we want to make sure that, or we want to discover if the role that we have has access to list the content of the S3 bucket. It's not supposed to, but we're going to check if it can do that. It's that role needs to use basically basic permissions. So it's not supposed to have like least privileged access. So it's not supposed to have access to be able to list the content. But let's see if it does or not. So I'm going to do AWS S3 ls level 1.cloud or Flaws2.cloud, Flaws2.cloud using the profile we created, dash dash profile, right here, Flaws2.L1. So that's the profile. Let's see if we can list the content of the S3 bucket or not. And yes, we can see it list all the content of the S3 bucket, all the objects, and it is not supposed to do that. Here, we can see one file, which is interesting. It's a secret called a secret. So that kind of shows that we have cracked the code and we can get access to the level 2 page. I'm going to copy this right here and go to my browser and paste it there to see which page does this take us to. And it says level 1 secrets. So we have it. And the next level is on this link right here. So this is level 2. That means we bypassed the 100-digit code and we're on level 2 now. And here it talks about the 3 lessons or the 3 flaws that is supposed to be covered. One is that bypassing input validation needs to happen both on the front end and also the back end of the website. The other one is that sometimes developers print out the environmental variables and all the other sorts of things that they print out to debug things, and they forget to remove these on the final version of the production. So that's not supposed to happen. We're not supposed to print out sensitive information or the environmental variables. And the third thing is that least privilege access. That role that we had was not supposed to be able to list all the content of the S3 bucket. It was supposed to have access only to the things that it needs to view. So those 3 are the lessons that we learned about this. You can go try out the challenge yourself and beat that. In the next video, we're going to do the next challenge, which is finding out the username and password of level 2. So thanks for watching. Watch the next video if you want to find out the username and password of this AWS container or how to bypass that. Thank you so much.